Now, these are some mistakes that even I made and some of my friends made, and I would have loved someone to point out these mistakes to me when I was coming to study in Canada. Well, that's why I'm here. Hi, my name is Seyi Obasi. Welcome to this channel. I share information about how people can relocate to Canada. I'm a Nigerian living in Canada. I came to Canada as an international student in 2018, and after going through my studies, I applied for permanent residence. So I came as an international student, but I'm a permanent resident, and I help people go through this route: study route, work route, permanent residence route, to become permanent residents in Canada. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all the love that you've been showing, liking the videos, sharing them. I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. Fall season has started in Canada, and a lot of students are resuming school because September, which is the fall term, is usually like the most common term where people resume in schools and people are resuming. So I want to talk about some of the most costly mistakes that you should avoid as an international student that is resuming to study in Canada. Now, these are some mistakes that even I made and some of my friends made, and I would have loved someone to point out these mistakes to me when I was coming to study in Canada. Well, that's why I'm here, to point it out to you so you are not making these mistakes, because some of these mistakes could make the difference between you having a nice time or being frustrated here when you come to study in Canada. Now, everybody, you inclusive, must have heard the announcement of the housing minister in Canada, where they talked about capping the number of international students coming to study in Canada because of a housing crisis. There's such a housing crisis in Canada, but you is watching this video today. I'm going to tell you some things that you can do to avoid some of these errors, including housing errors. Now, I'm going to talk about this in several topics or several headings so that you're not making this mistake. So grab a pen, grab a paper, and make sure you're taking notes. If you are resuming in Canada, or you know someone who is resuming soon, they are going to need these notes. Make sure you're watching to the end of the video, because I'm going to be sharing some tips that, trust me, you don't want to miss it. This is coming from someone who has been through that and who has learned from others who have been through it as well, and I'm sharing these tips. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the actual study in Canada. Now, a lot of people who come from outside of Canada to study in Canada, especially for postgraduate studies, are usually surprised at the rigor and the type of studying that you have to do in Canada. Some of them are not prepared mentally. So the first thing is that you need to prepare yourself mentally. You need to know that you're coming for a rigorous study, especially for graduate studies. Now, if you're doing masters, you're doing PhD, it's even going to be more rigorous. So be mentally prepared for what you're coming to face. You also need to make sure that you are computer literate. If you want to come to Canada to study and you are not computer literate, you will struggle, because a lot of things are done online. There are a lot of tools that are used for studying that you have to familiarize yourself with. So please be computer literate. If you are not computer literate, make sure that you're going to familiarize yourself with basic computer things like Microsoft and some of the tools. Different schools use different tools, but make sure that when you come here, you find out the tool that your school uses. Some of them use certain tools to share notes. They use certain tools for you to submit your assignments. There are also student portals which you might have to navigate to check out how to register for courses and all that. Familiarize yourself with that. So, they move fast so that you're not left behind and struggling to catch up with others when they move forward. Another thing when it comes to studying in Canada is that you must try to connect with people from your own country, So all schools, I dare say all schools, have this international groups or international student office where you can go and find out how to connect with people from your country, how to network. The networking is so important. When I came to Canada, I had network. I'm like, what is all this networking? And I've come to understand that networking is important. Information is important, and information can be there flying around, but because you don't have anyone to tell you, you will just be meandering and just wasting time for information that you could have gotten. So connect to people from your country, join groups. A lot of times there are groups for countries, there are groups for towns, there are groups for cities, there are groups for your department. Join those groups and learn. Be asking as many questions as you can as you go. And a lot of times your tuition that you paid entitles you to certain things. Find out what you're entitled to, your insurance. Sometimes your tuition covers bus pass, so you don't have to pay a different bus pass. You just show your student ID card, or you're given a bus pass. Find out if you're entitled to airport pickup. Some schools actually arrange airport pickup, and some of them will even ask you at the point when you're applying for admission, do you need airport pickup? Some people will tick no. You understand? Even if you tick no, then contact the school. Tell them that you want to be picked up at the airport. It saves you time and it saves you money. It saves you struggling to settle down. They're going to take you straight to your Airbnb or your accommodation or whatever, wherever you have arranged to stay. So make sure you're finding out what you're entitled to. If you're coming with family, find out if your insurance covers your family as well, or if you need to get extra insurance for them. Now that we've covered studying in Canada, let's move to accommodation. Accommodation is a really big one because, number one, the number of international students is increasing year on year in Canada, and then some of the housing that is provided in Canada cannot well cope exactly with the number of students that are coming. So how are you going to manage when it comes to accommodation? A lot of people ask me, oh, I'm coming to a new country, Seyi, help me look for accommodation, help me look for accommodation. And I always tell them what you need to do if you're coming and you don't know anybody in that place where you're coming to. Be very careful about paying for accommodation to someone that you don't know. You haven't even seen the place before you come. I would advise you to get an Airbnb. It's simple. Just Google Airbnb. Airbnb, it's like a meeting place for people who are ready to rent out probably their houses or rooms to people for short time before you can get an accommodation of your own. So get an Airbnb, land in an Airbnb, but before you come, make sure you have arranged 1 or 2 viewings. I would advise that you actually see the place that you want to rent. Arrange 1 or 2 viewings. So as you are landing in your Airbnb that week, or starting even the next day, you are already viewing 1 or 2 places, and luckily before that week is over, you would have landed somewhere you would have paid. So you would stay in that Airbnb for 1 week or less. Make sure that's what you're doing. Don't pay for accommodation, someone you don't know, before you land. Now, if you know someone in that place where you're landing and they are willing, they can help you look at accommodation. It's easier. They can check the accommodation for you, verify, and then they can pay and take the key. So when you're landing in that place. But except that is the case, so be very careful about paying for accommodation when you haven't seen the place and where you're not sure who you're paying to. Okay? Now, when it comes to accommodation, also be realistic with your budget. Don't make the mistake of comparing yourself with the Joneses. Some people have been here long before you. Maybe they came 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Don't compare your accommodation with them. Cut your coat according to the cloth that you have, not even according to your size. Yeah. You're coming to a new country, you have to be careful with your money. So cut your coat according to your cloth. Look for accommodation that you can actually afford, that you're comfortable with. Yeah. If you're a single person, 1 room is enough for you. Just get 1 room in a house with other students or whoever. Don't go renting like a self-contained or all of that. You don't need that for now. You just need that 1 room. So that is what you should be renting at this point. But if you're coming with your family, that's when you're going to need probably a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, an apartment. Yeah, I would advise you when you're getting accommodation, especially for the 1 room, try and get the one that includes utilities. Yeah, so apart from paying for rent, there's also bills to pay, like gas bills, electricity bills, water bills, and all the other utilities. Sometimes there's parking. And then some accommodation, the rent comes with all of these things inclusive. Some comes with just the rent, and then you have to pay all these other bills. Probably share it with others in the room or in the apartment now. So but if you can get accommodation that includes utilities, that will be the best, because sometimes these utilities can go high, especially when it comes to gas cost. In the winter, it can go high. So try and get the one that is inclusive. Now, sometimes you might go and rent a room in a house or an apartment, and you meet someone from your country. Yeah, you like them, you meet a lady that you like, you people become friends, and then you now suggest buying things together like pots and pans. I would not advise that. I'm not saying don't be their friend though, be their friend, but have your own things. Yeah, buy your own pots, buy your own pans. If you people want to buy things together because you're living together, let them buy something and then you buy the others. For example, they might buy pots, you buy pans. They might buy plates, you buy spoons. And the reason why I'm saying that is so that when you guys are living and going to your different places, you are taking your pot, she's taking her pants. You don't have to now start struggling about who uses what, but as much as you can, have your own things. You know how we ladies are. I don't think guys have problem. They can share their pots and pants and stuff, but ladies, we usually like to have our own things, to hold on to our own things. So try and avoid sharing things if you know it might cause problem. You know, one wahala, you came here to study, face your studies, you understand? You can't be struggling with studies and then struggling with somebody that is quarreling with you about pots and pans. Cook your own food too. This sharing of food, I'm talking from experience. So this cooking, we cook together, can cause wahala. Some people are heavy eaters. Some people don't know how to cook. Some people, you know, when you have an arrangement with them for them to cook, maybe you cook, I clean. People don't meet their own side of the deal. Do you understand? It's going to cause quarrel. So cook your own food, eat your own food. Let them cook their own. You people can be friends, you know, and go out and eat together. But when it comes to this sharing thing, try and avoid as much as you can. Also, when it comes to accommodation, I like to advise, if it's possible, don't live in the same house with your landlord or landlady. There are sometimes you might not be able to avoid it, and I'm not saying that there are some landlords and landladies that are not great. I lived with a landlord when I first came to Canada, and it was great. It was a great person, but I've heard landlord horror stories, especially those who have female landladies. Oh my goodness, there are some, they won't let you play music, and when you cook, they will complain. They don't allow you to bring visitors. No one can visit you, stuff like that. It's just stressful. There's extra pressure on top of the pressure of studying. So if you can avoid, please don't avoid. But if you are pressed for accommodation and the one you saw is somebody who lives in the house, going to live in the house with you, just try and assess. Sometimes, you know, you get these vibes. Look at them very well. Check the vibes that is coming from them. Is the vibes fitting with you? If your vibes are jamming, then you can take it. If your vibes are not jamming, I advise you, go and check another place. It's better for you to get somewhere where you will be at peace. Do you understand? Rather than having to have wahala with landlord or landlady. And eventually, those wahala will now cause you to leave, or they will tell you to leave. So avoid it from the start as much as you can. So when you're coming as a student or as a small family, as a lot of times what you will get are basement apartments. Basement apartments are good. I'm not saying they're not good, but they can be cold in the winter. So if you're getting a basement and you're coming with kids or small children, please be aware that it gets cold. So be sure to invest in a good heater. Yeah, and be realistic. Know that, you know, this place is going to get cold in the winter, and be expected. Like, know that would happen. So if you can avoid a basement, do that. There are some basements that are really great in terms of they are not as cold, but in general, a basement could be cold. So you need to just manage your expectations. Now let's talk about work. If you're enjoying this video so far, please leave us a like. Don't forget, click the like button, and be sure to drop your comments, you know, on what I've talked about so far in terms of the rigor of studying in Canada. If you know someone who has come to study in Canada, or you yourself have, and you understand what I talked about when it comes to rigor and accommodation, leave us a comment and like this video. So let's talk about work. Now, one of the attractive things about studying in Canada is that you can work as a student and study. Now, but there's a lot of misconception when it comes to working and studying. A lot of people have expectations that are not realistic when it comes to working and studying, and I'm going to talk a bit about that. Now, except you came to Canada by October 2022, October 7th or so 2022, you cannot work full-time. You can only work 20 hours outside of campus. So you can only work 20 hours. Now, even if you came before October 2022, you can only work full-time up until this year or next year. It's going to end soon. So it's not like a permanent policy. It's a temporary policy. However, if you didn't, you can only work 20 hours a week. Now, when you get to the airport, you're going to be given a study permit. And in your study permit, they are going to write that you're entitled to work 20 hours or whatever. Please be checking that study permit. Don't just collect study permit and start to the work at the enter Canada. Check. Check, because some of these immigration officers might omit to put that. So check. Now, there are some immigration officers that are even restricting working hours on the work permits. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something that entered their head. They might restrict your working hours or say that you cannot work in certain sectors like healthcare or all that. Check all of that and ask them questions. Don't be scared of them. They're human beings. Ask why they are giving you that. And if they have restricted you from working in Canada, then you can appeal it. Now, if you are coming to study in a DLI that is not eligible for post-graduation work permit, you are not eligible to work. You are not eligible to work. That's why I always advise go for a DLI that is eligible for PGWP so that you can work in Canada. Now we have already you've gotten work permit, you got it at the airport. Now you have entered into Canada. Welcome to Canada. What kind of jobs can you get? How much can you earn? And can you pay tuition from the job that you're doing? Now, as a student, you're working 20 hours a week outside of campus. If you work on campus, you can work unlimited hours. So if you get a job on campus, in the library, in car park or whatever, you can work more than 20 hours. It doesn't affect that 20 hours that you're working. But if 20 hours that you're allowed to work, but if you're working outside of campus, then it's just 20 hours. Now, can you pay your tuition without money? I've done a video. If you check this channel, you've seen where I did a video, detailed video in terms of can you pay your tuition from working in Canada. You need to go and check out that video. You need to check it out. Look, you'll probably be getting minimum wage because you're a student. Now, whether you can pay tuition without money, I don't think so. Just, I don't want you to come and suffer in Canada. And I like to tell the truth. I don't do clickbait. So it will be difficult. Yeah, it may be difficult for you to pay tuition from the 20 hours work that you're doing. That 20 hours work can help you pay utilities, can help you pay transportation, help you pay rent, help you buy food, stuff like that. But you see that tuition, better to have a plan B regarding your tuition. However, if you're coming to your spouse, your spouse can get spousal open work permit and they can work full-time because it's an open work permit. So if your spouse is working full-time in addition to the part-time that you are working, if you want to combine that money together, it might be able to help. But you just come as an international student thinking that I will work and pay my tuition, I do not advise it. Okay, so with regards to the type of jobs you can get, all sorts. You can get jobs as a bartender, or you can get jobs as a cashier in a store. You can get job as a customer service. Some of you want to work as PSWs. Some of you will be working in the factories and all that. You can actually do all of those jobs. Now, some of these jobs require that you have certain training or certification. If you can do these certifications before you come to Canada, it's fine. Do you understand? You can also do them here. For example, if you want to be a PSW, you need to have your first aid and know how to do CPR. They have those trainings here in Canada. You can pay and do them, or you can do them before you can come with the certificate. If you want to work in a bar or any place that sells alcohol, you need to do a smart serve training. I know I did that one time when I wanted to work, in a bar or so. I've done that training. I've done the CPR. I've done the first aid. I never ever did that alcohol job, but I did train for it. So you can do all of that before you learn. You're going to need that, and if you have those, you have advantage to do those jobs over people who don't have it. There are also some jobs that you can do, as well as some side hustles that will require a driver's license. So make sure you're coming with your driver's license. Renew it though. Don't allow it to expire before you come, and get your driving extracts. Yeah, so with your driver's license and driving extract, you can rush to do your knowledge test and then do your drive test, the one on the road, so that you're prepared for any job that is asking, do you have driver's license? There are some jobs that require it, and they pay quite well. You can also do Uber. If you can get a car and drive Uber, it's a great side hustle. Yeah, it will get you a lot of money, more than just working in an office. Now let's talk about skincare. Now, skincare applies to everybody, whether you're a man or a woman or a child. You want to take care of your skin. You want to be shining now in Canada. Because you're in Canada, or your skin should shine. But some people come here and notice that the water here doesn't agree with their skin. Some people come and they notice, even people that have kids, they notice that, oh, there's something about the water that affects their kids. Now, this is what I would advise. When I was coming, I brought shea butter, and I think it's great, especially in the winter. Your skin can get dry. So if you can come with shea butter, come with shea butter. If you have your own normal beauty regimen that you do back home, and there are things that you buy them. Bring as many as you can. If you can bring 4 of those creams, buy as much as you can to last you for as long as you can, until somebody's coming again. Just in case you don't get that type here. You know that sometimes these companies that make this skincare, they make one for Africa, then they make one for Europe or Canada or all that. So the one that fits your skin might be that one that you've been using in Africa, and this one here might not. So bring it. Yeah, bring those ones. And then when it comes to sunscreen, bring sunscreen. Sunscreen is a big deal here, because in the summer, depending on where you live, the sun can be bad. Yeah, the sun can be bad. So come with your sunscreen. And the reason I'm saying that, because the one hair I've noticed can leave some white attachment on your skin. There was one I was using once that even gave me some rashes. It was sunscreen, and I stopped using it. Yeah, so as much as you can, bring your sunscreen, bring your cream. And if you're a lady and you want to wear attachment like me, make sure you're coming with wigs and attachments. Yeah, crochet. Yeah, because you might be busy as a student. You might be so busy that you won't have time to go and be doing hair. You don't want to look like you just came from somebody who just came from somewhere who is impoverished. You also want to look good. You have to keep up, appearances and look nice. So come with as much hair attachments, wig as you can. It's great. Yeah, because sometimes to do this hair here, it's not easy. But crochet is not as expensive to make, because you just weave your hair and just use needle and thread and make the crochet. Some people can do that thing for themselves. Oh, yeah. I've seen people here who make their own hair. Can you imagine? I can't do that. I have to go and be paying people money to do my hair. But there are people that can crochet their hair. I have a friend, she does her hair, she weaves her hair, she braids it and all that, all by herself. So she's saving like $900 or $150 that people like us I don't know how to do these things are spending money on. Yeah. So don't forget to be liking this video, leave a comment. Thank you so much. That it encourages me, or it does, and share the video as well, so that as many people who are coming to Canada now or coming whenever sometime in the future can get this video and learn, because these are really huge lessons, critical lessons, mistakes people make that I wish I myself knew before I came to Canada. So what about clothes? When I wanted to come to Canada, I heard the country is cold. Cold, oh, cold. That we cannot wear the clothes that we wear back home. So I didn't bring a lot of my clothes. I was hoping to come here to buy clothes. But then there is summer now. There's summer. So during the summer, you can actually wear the clothes that you wear back home. So come with as much clothes as you can. Basic colors, black, brown, white, and all that. Try and bring clothes, yeah. Don't forget that you have a limited number of suitcases. I think it's 23 kg, 2 suitcases, and your hold all. That's what you can bring. So manage your space very well. Yeah, don't bring things that you don't need to bring. You can bring clothes, bring trainers. Yeah, people wear trainers a lot here. Bring trainers, bring a couple of jeans, trousers, and your tops. Bring that. And then medicine. There's some medicines you can't buy here except you get a prescription from a doctor, which is how it should be, yeah? Not the one you go to the pharmacy and say, mix for me. There's no mixing here. So bring the medicine. If you're on the prescription, bring that. Basic medicines like Panadol, they do have Advil and all that here. The only one I can recommend, maybe bring something for cold, yeah? The malaria medicine. Bring it because you can experience some malaria symptoms at first when you come, and there's no malaria medicine in Canada. You have to bring those yourself. So bring medicine as much as you can. And then food stuff. Hey, food stuff for those who like food. Bring what you can, like dry fish, egusi, ogbono, stockfish, anything that you can manage to bring. Palm oil, if you can freeze that, put it in your suitcase, you can bring it out. These things are available in African store. It's not as if they are not here. They are, depending on where you live. There are some places where they have plenty African store. There are some places where they have a few, and so when it's a few, the thing they cost. So bring as much as you can. Manage your space. Some people also cargo their things, yeah, by sea, some by air. People will like food. So you can pack all of those foods, put in a Ghana must go, and cargo them to Canada. It's also a good way to do it. Now, the last but not the least are your documents. Make sure, don't leave document behind though. Bring all of your certificates from school, bring your driver's license, bring your bank extracts, your birth certificates. Every of your important documents come with it. If you have a dorm account, get ATM, bring your ATM so that you can be withdrawing from that account and all that. But bring all your documents. If you're coming with kids, bring their vaccination documents, because they're going to go to school and at some point they will ask for vaccination documents. Bring all of those, their birth certificates, all of those sweet important documents. Make sure you're coming with them. Don't leave anything behind though. You are coming here to stay, so bring all your documents along with you. So we're rounding down the video, and I'm so glad you've given me the opportunity to talk to you about some of these mistakes, some things you should watch out for as you're coming to Canada. Don't worry, you might be overwhelmed your first few weeks, but you get your rhythm and you start, flowing with the Canada flow. So just take your time, pray, pace yourself, and know that you are learning. There's a learning curve, and eventually you get it. And who knows, you start advising others who are coming to Canada as well. If there's any topic you want me to expatiate on, I'm thinking about that accommodation only. If you want me to talk about accommodation, how to find accommodation, where to find accommodation, what to look out for, make sure you leave in the comments. Leave a comment. If I see like 50 comments asking me talk about accommodation, I'm going to do a special video detailed on accommodation, because I know a lot of people are struggling with that. Can you imagine some people are even sleeping outside here in some provinces because they don't have accommodation? I want to talk about. So leave a comment, like this video, subscribe, and share it far and wide. Thank you so much for all your love. Those of you who are sharing this video, you've been sharing. Oh, God bless you. I'm so appreciative. I'll talk to you in the next video. And then take care. Don't forget, it's not over until you say it's over. So don't say it's over. I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care now, and God bless you.